I am now finally following through on recording my Ask Me Anything video for the Fitotube group. So got a handful of questions. First question I got is from AJ Landon, and she asked whether or not I'm following a program right now in my training. Right now I'm sort of doing a hybrid of Shiko number 40 and Shiko number 32. These are Russian powerlifting programs, so 3 days a week, focusing on the three main lifts: bench, squat, and deadlift. Benching 3 days a week, squatting twice a week, and deadlift once a week. Using a couple different variations of deadlift to build more power in different parts of the pull, that kind of stuff. Just following it because I needed something with good, clear numbers just to get an idea of what I wanted to do. Preparing for my competition, got my third powerlifting meet coming up on November 15th, so wanted to get my numbers up a bit after having a summer where I really didn't focus on my training as much as I would have liked. So after this meet, I'm planning on doing more of a bodybuilding type program, focus a little more on aesthetics, focus on getting leaner, finally getting under 160 pounds, because right now I'm standing at about 180 and I'm not too thrilled about that. So, not that any of my friends believe me when I say I weigh that much. Next couple questions come from Ramajama. Her first question is whether or not I'm currently on hormones to become more macho, as I say in my profile. And right now I'm not on testosterone. I'm hoping to go on testosterone within the next 4 or 5 months, hopefully sooner than even that. It's just been dealing with other issues, mental health issues, and finances that have been holding me back from getting on testosterone injections for my medical transition to male. So it's been a process. I had in the past experimented with anabolic steroids, but due to illegality and difficulty in obtaining them, ceased doing that. And like the main reason why I want to go on testosterone is to physically transition to male, but I'm also looking forward to the strength gains that will come with that, even though of course that'll mean I'll have to start competing in the male division rather than female division if I decide to continue competing in powerlifting as I begin my medical transition. As for Rama's next question, what are my favorite exercises and which are my least favorite exercises? Probably my favorite two exercises are deadlift, definitely deadlift. There's something to be said for just feeling so strong, picking something up that weighs more than I do and pulling it up off the ground. And I'm really also growing to like bench press. Like, as I've gotten more solid in my technique, as I've gotten more confident in it, I've started to like it more. I used to hate bench. Least favorite exercise, any single leg work. I hate lunges, I hate step-ups. When I saw that the powerlifting program that I'm following has lunges built into it, I cringed. I'm doing them like a good boy because they're on the program, and I know that doing single leg work is good for correcting imbalances and all that, but I hate them. And I suck at them, but that's a different story for another day. Okay, something clever. You live up to your name, first of all, and you asked a good question. You asked, why do I think artists of all types are so often tortured souls? I wouldn't say that all artists are. I think a lot of people buy into the trope that in order to be artistic, in order to be creative, you have to be tortured. But there's a lot of best-selling authors and musicians who are relatively mundane. Like, like visual artists, I do think tend to be more towards that tortured soul mentality. Like you look at examples like Dali, Van Gogh, Frida Kahlo, Jackson Pollock, and you see that these people dealt with some serious shit in their lives, and their art was a way of dealing with that, processing it, and expressing it. But at the same time, there's artists like more on like the graphic design side, like who we know next to nothing about their lives, and they were probably very mundane, very normal people. So I'm not necessarily sure I buy the whole tortured soul equals artist or artist equals tortured soul thing. So last but not least, got a question from Karcher, and she asked, what has been the most influential book / movie you've read or watched? And why? Well, most influential book, I've got two. Probably for fiction, the most influential book that I've ever read was The Wind-Up Girl by Paolo Bacigalupi. I've recommended it a number of times here on Fito, and just, like, I'm a sucker for dystopias, and like it sort of shifted my understanding of corporate control and gave me some thought as to like just how real a world where calories are king, where corporations have unbridled corporate greed has caused so much trouble. And I can see hints of that already emerging in our society with like how food companies and agribusinesses have such a chokehold on the American food system. It's kind of scary. And that novel just really made me hyper aware of it and sort of influenced me into being more conscious about my decisions and like what companies I support with my money when I'm able to. Of course, with my financial situation, sometimes I don't get a say, but as much as I can, I try to be aware of what I'm buying and who I'm buying it from and where my dollars are going, because when you buy things, it supports, like, every dollar's a vote for what's going to happen. Most influential nonfiction book I've read is Gender Failure by Ray Spoon and Ivan E. Coyote, which is sort of like a collection of perspectives from two transgender people who don't identify as either male or female. They both identify as somewhere in between, and getting that perspective and seeing them talk about their experiences, like in pursuing top surgery, whether or not they wanted to go on hormones, what it meant for them to go through that journey of self-definition, really helped me solidify my own understanding of myself as a transgender person. And like, it's a book that my copy is annotated. I've annotated it, I've underlined, I've highlighted things. Like, that's a book that if you want to understand, get an idea of what it means to be trans, especially from a non-binary perspective, read it. While obviously those are only two voices, they're very well-spoken writers, and those stories touch home in a way that a lot of writing about transgender issues misses out on sometimes. As for movies, I'm not as influenced by films as I am by books. I've always been more of a reader than a watcher of films. But one film that definitely has influenced me, like probably I won't even say influenced. I'll probably say that my favorite movie of all time is the film Millennium Actress, directed by Satoshi Kon. It's a Japanese anime film, and this film sort of just like shifted my perspective on some things, and that like it explores the power of memory and how one, through simply recounting their past experience, can bring others into that world of memory. It's such a heartwarming story, and the art is amazing, so definitely recommend it. Yeah, so that's it for questions. If you guys ever have any more, feel free to shoot them my way. I don't mind getting in front of camera to talk. Have a good night.